Hello, Instagram and YouTube. If this is the first time you've been in my live, my name is Brad. Welcome to the Pedestal Wife Society. Hello. How are you doing today? This on Instagram, I'm just going to be announcing that I'm going to go live on YouTube. I'm going to be talking about single until you're married. So if you're interested in that type of content, you want to click the link in my story. It's going to take you right over to my YouTube. So I'm gonna wait a little bit to fill the room up on YouTube. YouTube, please let me know that you can see me and you can hear me. But because guess what I'm doing? I know my YouTube community, the Pedestal Wife community, y'all are gonna be so excited about this announcement. I'm coming back to YouTube on a on a more basis of doing more content over here. And I'm gonna be doing less content on Instagram. So if you're interested in following my content, make sure that you click the link in my bio or in my stories, and it will get you right over YouTube. We're going to be talking about single until married. That is the topic of conversation. That is what we're going to be talking about over here today. I have an entire list of stuff that I want to talk about on YouTube that I've kind of been holding off on, but I feel like this is the perfect time. Instagram is doing fine. Now it's time for me to put more energy into my YouTube content, into the Pedestal Wife community, and into my inner circle. So that is what I'm going to be doing. So if you're over my YouTube, please give me a comment down below. Let me know that you can see me and you can hear me, because we're going to get into some good stuff, especially when it comes to single until you're married, especially that type of conversation. Because I'm going to tell you this, single until you're married logically does not make sense. And before you get mad at me, you're like, oh, this girl doesn't know what she's talking about. One, I'm already married. Okay, so I don't have a dog in this fight. I've been married for 23 years, so I'm not out here dating. But single until you marry does not make logical sense, because when you go into the court of law, if you bring a verbal contract, you can literally sue someone. So if you're going to be going around saying I'm single until I'm married, then you have to forego all commitment. And I know no one wants to really have that conversation, but I think it's an important one to have. How do we go about it correctly? How do we not get ourselves caught up in these situations where we have a commitment, but we still feel that we're single? Don't do it. It's just that simple. We make things easy over here. Stop committing yourself to relationship if you're dating for marriage. If you're dating for marriage, date for marriage. If you're dating for fun and to be seen and to have companionship, then do so. You have to move a little bit differently when you're dating for marriage. And so that's what we're going to have, that type of conversation. We're going to talk about how to go about doing that, because people are always shocked when I tell them I've never been a girlfriend, because I never desired to be one. And also I grew up in my family, we move a little bit differently. Boyfriend and girlfriend is okay while you're in school. Once you get out of school, you don't do boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. You can have a companion, you can have a friend, but you don't do any type of form of commitment, especially if you're on the marriage path, especially if you want to get married. So people start tripping when I say I was never my husband's girlfriend. I was always his fiance. Then I went from his fiance to his wife, and I have been his wife for 23 years. But you have to move differently. So the whole single until you're married, cut it out. Stop it. It doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. And when you're not supposed to tell men this either. So when I see a lot of people popping up and they're saying, oh, I'm single until I'm married, but y'all are in committed relationships. Y'all are doing things that indicate that you're committed to this person. That is not the way that you move if you're single until you're married. If you're single until you're married, you're going to move in a manner where I am dating, I am vetting, I am married. It's just that simple. We don't complicate things over here. And I feel like social media is complicating things and making things hard for young women. So young women are confused. They're like, should I be like single until I'm married? Should I get into a relationship with a man and be his girlfriend? And then I'm single until I'm married. You can be single until you're married, just don't have any commitments out there. It's just that simple. It's just like when you go into the court of law and you can actually be sued for a verbal contract. It's just that if I promise you something and you can prove that I promised you something and all I did was give my word, you can still be sued. Just like if people continue to move in this way of the boyfriend and girlfriend conversations, the government is actually moving in a space where they are going to treat it like marriage. You're going to be fighting it out in court regardless. So you might as well go the full Monty. You might as well go ahead and get married, because governments are seeing that, hey, we're not having marriage in the traditional way. So why not give boyfriend and girlfriend the opportunity to fight it out in court over property, over children, over anything else? It's already in place. And I know a lot of us don't pay attention to what's going on in the news or what's going on in the government. I can tell you right now, since our birth rates are down and the government's trying to figure out how do we get more money out of these people who are not married, but they're living together and they're having babies, we're going to sit here and figure it out. And that's what's happening. So the government and a lot of laws are moving towards that way, where even if you're a girlfriend or boyfriend, y'all still gonna be able to fight it out in court. Y'all can still fight it out in court just like married people. So you might as well go and get the full Monty, all of the legalities, all of the paper signed. And if you don't want to, you may not need to move in with anybody, because that's coming up. That's neither here nor there. But let's talk about single until you're married and cut it out. I'm going to finish this conversation up on YouTube. I just want to give the Instagram, my Pedestal Wives, the community opportunity to watch it on YouTube to be over here on YouTube in the community. But we're going to finish it up over here. I'll see you all on the next one. Y'all have a great one. All right, so let's continue the conversation, because what's happening when we have this, I think the same thing happened with the prize conversation when women were supposed to use it as an affirmation. Instead, we're using it as a way, as talking points with men, when it was never meant to be talking points. It was always meant to be something that you knew that had value for you. And it was an affirmation for you to be able to say, I am the prize, not for you to use it and just regurgitate it back to men. So it's the same thing with single until you're married. I think that's what's happening with single until you're married. Someone said on social media, they made it popular. Now we have a whole bunch of women getting in boyfriend relationships, girlfriend and boyfriend relationships, and saying they're single until they're married, when it is not possible. It's absolutely an oxymoron. It's absolutely not logical to have a commitment with another person but say that you're single. And this also prevents people from looking at you as though that your word means anything, because you literally made a verbal commitment to a person to say that, hey, I'm going to forsake all others and only be with you, but then I'm going to still continue to date and look for my husband. See, the thing is, we're complicating things when it doesn't need to be complicated. It's not a complication. Only thing we need to do is to stop getting into these commitments and date for marriage. And if this person isn't offering us marriage, we need to be willing to walk away and not have one in the pocket, because that's what that is. We want to have one in the pocket. We want to have some type of protection if it doesn't go right, or that this person isn't interested in us, when we should just date for marriage. Because I wouldn't want to be that person who gets in a relationship with you and you're single until you're married, but this means your word means nothing. So you made this commitment to me. You're saying you're going to be with me. You're saying you're going to forsake all others, but you're literally looking and dating for your husband. Just let the person go. It's just that simple. Because in the court of law, it would not stand. Do you all realize there are women out here, and I ain't gonna say there aren't any men who probably haven't pursued. I just haven't came across cases where a man has pursued the woman for her finances, or because he didn't tell the truth, or he gave her some type of commitment. But it is happening in real time, where women are taking men to court because they didn't follow through with the commitment. They didn't follow through with the marriage. You can take someone to court in certain states for that. You can get your coins if this person lies to you. So we have to be very careful with this dialogue, this conversation of single until married. Cut it out. It logically doesn't make sense. The best thing we can possibly do is to stop making commitment to a person, and we can't see ourselves with that person. We can't see ourselves going any further with that person. Because I had a video that went on Instagram and it went viral. It went totally viral. It helped blow the page up on Instagram. If you go on my Instagram right now, you're like, where all these people come from? Girl, I don't know. I'm surprised, just like you are, that they are here. I got all these lights on me. It's hot. Got me hot. But the point is, instead of going into these relationships and making your word look as though it means nothing, because that's what it does. If you are going to give me commitment, you're going to forsake all others, you're going to call me your girlfriend, and then you go and do something else, I'm not going to take your word seriously. And that's the issue. It's literally a verbal commitment, a verbal contract with another person when you take and give a commitment like that. This is the reason why I'm going to say it to the end of times. It's unpopular, but I truly do feel like that boyfriend and girlfriend relationships are confusion. I feel like that's what it is. When you decide to be someone's girlfriend and you are over a certain age, you are signing up to be confused. You're signing up to forsake all others until this particular person is ready for what you want. And that's what you're signing up for. I think we need to know the level of commitment and what we're signing up for. And that's what it is. I think we should take commitments very seriously. Marriage is serious. If marriage is not only a verbal, but it's also a spiritual covenant and commitment with another person. So you have to take your commitment seriously. And instead of when you think about I'm single until you're married, absolutely. Ideally, you are single until you're married, because boyfriend and girlfriend is no legal status. It gives you no real status. It is actually a false status that majority of people hang on to, and they create from that dynamic. And it's so much confusion involved in doing it that this is the reason why I tell my girls, my Pedestal Wife Society, my inner circle, don't do it. Don't sign up for any commitment that's going to lead to confusion, because that's what it does. Women are confused if he wants me, if he doesn't want me, does he want married? Because you took on a commitment without all the details. And that's what it is when it comes to boyfriend and girlfriend. I feel like when you go into a commitment with husband and wife, there you have more information, because you have to do your due diligence. You have to vet. You have to get to know that person. I've seen women and men get in a relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend, and not even know the other person's last name. So that is how confusion starts here. And that's the reason why I say girlfriend and boyfriend are the land of confusion, and women should be very careful about taking on any type of commitment, because you know what it does? It looks as though your word doesn't matter. Don't give your word to any type of commitment if you're not willing to follow through. In my family, we have an expression. It's called your word is your bond. I don't promise anything. I don't tell you you're going to get something from me unless I'm going to follow through. And that's what it does. And that's what women are doing with this whole conversation. Like I said, I had that video go viral, and the young woman, she's living with this guy. This is her boyfriend. And she stands up there and she says, I'm single until married. What? This is an oxymoron. This is not logical. You've already made a commitment to live with this man and forsake all others, but then you're single until you're married. Now, if she wants to have that to be something as a part of her affirmation system, as something that she tells herself, because legally a boyfriend has no legal status. When you go and file your paperwork, the IRS, it's going to tell you that you are single, because the government does not respect it, because the government is literally built off of marriage. It is. And it is dedicated to making sure that women and men get married. Like, that's the reason why all the laws kind of benefit marriage to a certain degree. Even the discounts that you find on the IRS when you're married, you get certain discounts for being married. Because the government is set up off of marriage. That's exactly what it is. They're set off of that commitment. But it doesn't make sense. And especially, it really doesn't make sense to women who want to get married. If you want to get married, don't make commitments that you will not keep, because this does bear to your reputation and how a man views your word. If you want your word to mean something, do not make commitments that you do not mean. So when she stood up there and she's asking this man for marriage, and then the next thing that come out her mouth is that she's single until married, I would pause. If I was a man, I would pause. I was like, hold up, she's single, but we live together. We done created a life together. We have a commitment together, and she's single. That doesn't bear well to future of you all creating a relationship dynamic that you want. So let me go ahead and see what everybody has to say, because you all, I know this probably you don't care about this, but I literally had a procedure yesterday, and I'm just determined now to show up more on YouTube. Hello, Alchemist and Ventures. Hello, Daisy B. Yes, I mean, ladies talk a good game, but they're actually tell the real. Their actions are really out here. Y'all out here spilling the tea on yourself. And it's not hard to see through you. We have to, as women, we have to have better game than that. We have to have better game than that. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with having that affirmation in your system, in your spirit, that you are the prize or you're single until you're married. But a lot of these things are oxymorons. They are not logical. And we need to be looking at them in a different way and handling them and modeling them in a different way. I've had to have that conversation because a guy wanted to be a girlfriend, boyfriend, move in together, and then maybe get married. What you're saying is don't have the conversation. I'm not saying don't have a conversation. When he brought this up, and he is one of your guys, your person that you feel is going to be a good match for a husband. He is husband material. This is what you should have said, and this is what I said also. I said, well, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Like, that is so sweet. If I was in a different stage of life, I would absolutely accept. But right now, I'm dating for marriage. I am a wife. I can see myself being a wife, but I can't see myself at this time in my life being a girlfriend. Okay, that is what you say. You don't avoid the conversation. You just let him know where you are. You give him, and especially if you're on the track to being married and you want marriage. What I tell you all, I've told you all over and over and over. A lot of reasons that wives are wives is because they gave their expectations to the men that they are married to. They let those men know that they're going to be married. They want to be married. That marriage is the end goal for them. They didn't leave it up to chance or for the wrong interpretation. They literally said, hey, I want to be married. And they kind of don't move further in doing things that's going to go against that wanting to be married. Being some man's girlfriend absolutely goes against wanting to be married in that moment. If you accept less than what you want, then you're getting the raw end of the deal. It's hard for me to believe in marriage and love. I'm starting to see it as a business partnership. You're looking for the best deal that chooses you. I think marriage still has its place, and I think when it comes to social media, it's so easy to be delusioned. Not delusion, maybe not delusion, but it's so easy for young women to see examples of marriage and then to not really want to do it anymore based off of what you're seeing about marriage when it comes to people and the way that they are talking about it and the way that people are teaching it. Let me tell you this. You probably won't be as disillusioned about marriage if you stop following people who aren't married, who stop listening to people who aren't married, especially if they're not in a happy marriage. Stop listening to those people, because those people will tear down your ideals of what marriage is supposed to be. You'll get the wrong idea of what marriage truly is. Most of us, we try to be good. We try to say, oh, well, they have something that can teach us. I'm going to say majority of stuff that I see on social media when it comes to marriage is not correct. And it has nothing to teach you. It just continues to degrade your idea of what marriage truly is. And a business, I think that signing papers, it could seem as though it's a business, but there's also love in marriage also. I believe in having it all. I believe in being greedy. I believe in being married and also having a great a family with that person. So I believe you can have it all. I just also believe you have to be very discerning. You have to use your intuition. You have to vet in order to make sure you're connecting with the right person. So don't give up. It is out there. I surround myself with plenty of happy married people. It just, one of the things about it, happily married people don't like the internet. And the reason why I came to the internet is because people who are married or happily married don't like the internet. And as you can see, I don't do a good job enough of being on the internet because I don't like the internet, but I got to let that go in order to be able to do what I have come to do. I have to show up a little bit more. I go through probably, I don't know, hundreds of videos a day where I can kind of see where you're coming from, how it's so easy to be disillusioned. And then y'all have to realize all marriages aren't equal. We all aren't marrying the same type of people. We don't all have the same dynamics in our marriage. So what you need to do is focus more on what you want out of your marriage and create that family and create that type of marriage. Because when it comes down to it, the way that marriage is going to function is going to be between those two people. That's what they don't tell you. People can get out here and tell you what they believe in and what they feel like marriage should be and how it should run and what it should look like. But when it comes down to it, it's going to be those two people involved in the marriage. They're going to determine how that marriage is going to flow and what it's going to look like. So what I would do, instead of focusing in on what other people are saying about marriage, create the dynamic that you desire in your marriage. And then this way you can be happy. Yes, I only listen to women in long-term hypergamous marriages where they are happy, content, and living their best lives. And it's absolutely what you should be doing. That is absolutely what you should be doing. You should be listening to women who are happily married, not women who haven't even been in a marriage. They're dreaming of marriage. They want marriage, but they haven't achieved it yet. What can they possibly teach you? What can they possibly tell you? This is the reason why I see things on social media and I immediately know that it's not going to work in marriage. So if I am going to go take the long route, because that's what this is. When women decide to get into a relationship with as that boyfriend and girlfriend dynamic, that is the long way around to the end goal of marriage. The shortcut, the shorter way of getting to marriage is to stop accepting commitment after a certain age. And I'm going to give you what I believe after a certain age, you should stop accepting commitment in that form. I'm going to say after the age of 24, you should no longer accept boyfriends in your life. Because the more, and this is my own personal opinion, and the reason why I say this, you don't have to do it like my family do. Remember, my family told me to stop accepting after high school because who wants to be older and talking about a boyfriend? So that's my family, but I'm going to say personally, I'm going to say 24 years old, stop accepting commitment in the form of a boyfriend, especially if you desire marriage. The reason for that is the more commitment that you take on, the more damage possibly that you will have, the more disillusioned you will be. Because the more relationships that do not work out, the more traumatized you will be, the more healing you will have to do. And see, that is the beauty of me getting married young, I feel like, is because I didn't have a lot of trauma and damage to heal from. I had to heal from childhood stuff. Just imagine going out here dating, and then you have to heal from childhood stuff. You have to heal from the first boyfriend that abused you, the second boyfriend that cheated on you, the third boyfriend that had a baby in the relationship, the fourth boyfriend who was married to somebody else. All of that trauma is trauma, and it traumatizes you. And the more that you have that on you, the more your energy becomes heavy. The more you close yourself off to dating. How many women have I met that have closed themselves off to dating because of trauma? I can't even count them. How many women do I have in my own personal container, my own personal community that are healing from being traumatized by a boyfriend? I can't count them on my fingers. So the more that you are determined to get on this path of marriage, then you should take on less of the commitment of a boyfriend and girlfriend kind of dynamics. The more you should pull away from that dynamic. What about us who never had a boyfriend even after that age? Is it better not to say that to a man? I wouldn't go and tell any man that I've never had a boyfriend. Don't do that. Because we are all human. The first thing that comes to mind when you stated that in the comment section, and I'm quite sure I can speak for all of us, like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong? Was it a family issue? Or are you traumatized by something in your family or your childhood? What is wrong? And the first thing he's going to think is, what is wrong with her? Because that is it normal? Unless you come from certain cultures. It depends. If you come from certain cultures, you don't have boyfriends anyway. So it's normalized. See, I am, I'm a Black woman. I come from the Black community. And coming from the Black community, we are known for our boyfriend and girlfriend dynamics. We're known to actually stay with a boyfriend for 20 years, 25. I've met women who said they were with someone for 30 until they realized it wasn't going to go anywhere. So it's a normal thing. Unless you're from a different culture and it's not a normal thing for you to have a boyfriend, you won't be looked at as abnormal. So if you have never had a boyfriend, I would never admit that. I want you to stop. If you have said it, stop saying it and start just approaching everything with confidence as though you've done it all. Like you had these experiences. Not done it all, just had experiences. But that is one of the things that I realized, that you're single until you're married. It makes sense to women who are talking about it from a perspective of relationship, because yes, you are single until you're married. When you go to the IRS and you file any type of paperwork you file your taxes, you're going to have to check single. So it absolutely logically makes sense, but it's illogical when you commit to another person. When you keep committing to boyfriends and then you're saying you're single until you're married, this just makes your word not mean anything. And who wants to operate or be with someone where their word doesn't mean anything? If a man did that and he is your boyfriend and he was running around talking about, I'm single, wouldn't you feel offended? Just tell the truth. Wouldn't you be offended if your boyfriend went around telling everybody that will listen that he was single? You'd be highly offended and annoyed. And you also doubt the relationship, because then you're like, what is he doing in his spare time? If he feels like he's single, maybe he's moving like he's single. So that's the thing that women are not talking about. We've latched onto this saying, and it doesn't help if you've already made these commitments. Now, if you haven't made these commitments, there's nothing wrong with saying it, but I think it's better to think it and to know it versus to say it. Stop showing all of our cards. We have to, where's the mystery? Where's the mystique? Where's the feminine mystery and mystique that women are supposed to have? Why are we telling all our business on social media? Why everybody got to know what we think and feel? Like I said, I ain't got no dog in this fight. But I also understand there's certain things I can't even say as a married woman. Some things I have to be on mute. Okay, I think my little mouse is dead. I've had experiences, but never had commitment. Only situations you're trying to change it. Absolutely. And if you want to change it, just keep it to yourself. Just keep it to yourself. See, you have the experiences, you know about it, you don't got to tell anybody. You want to look at the next person that you're talking to, and especially if you're serious about being married, you want to move in that way. You want to move as though you're a woman is dating for marriage and not a woman who's dating for just falsehood or just some kind of commitment. Okay, there we go. Y'all, hold on. I'm going to get through and look through, make sure. But single until you're married, when I keep seeing it coming up and up, or coming up over and over on all these videos, and I was like, when is it going to end? Especially when a woman who says it, and it normally, why is it always a woman who's in a relationship saying it? Why? When I can see if you're saying it and you're not committed to anybody, then it makes sense. But when you say it and then you have this whole commitment to this man, you're living with this man, you have children by this man, then you are in some type of commitment. You have a verbal agreement with this person that you're going to forsake all others. Stop giving that agreement out to men if you want to move in that manner. If you want to be able to move around and rotationally date for marriage, stop committing to men and going about it in the long way. Like I said, that's the long way to getting marriage. And that way isn't a successful one, by the way. There's so much research that shows all these long-term boyfriend and girlfriend relationships, a lot of times it does not end going to get married or getting to the altar. It just doesn't. The most successful way is to date for marriage and to stop handing out commitments like it's candy to people and then want to move as though you're single. It doesn't make sense. So I need you all to cut it out. I need you to stop it. I need you to stop getting on these podcasts or getting on these panels and saying that you're single until married, but then you're in relationships and committed to a man. If you're committed to a man, then do not say that, especially if you want it to work out with him. Like you want him to take you on when you're telling the world after you've committed to him, you've forsaken all others, you've given him what you should give a husband, you've given a boyfriend. And then you want him to be the husband, but you've gotten on panels, you're getting on social media, you're saying it to your friends. I'm single until married. It doesn't make sense. I'm just saying, if you're going to utilize single until married, then don't have any type of commitment. Stop being committed to a boyfriend. Stop signing up to be committed to a person and you want to still move in that manner, because it makes it look like your word doesn't mean anything. And I think that a lot of us would be upset if a guy was to push back and say, your word don't mean anything. Like when you tell me or give me a promise, you can't keep it, because that is a sign that you're not going to keep it, by the way. When you move in that manner, when you holler it all over social media and everybody that'll listen. And I keep seeing it over and over. As a person who, the way my Instagram is run, I see tons and tons of video of women doing that. And that's the reason why I said I have to say something. I have to say something, especially if you want to work out with him. That if you've already have this commitment to this man, y'all got kids together, y'all got a whole house together, you need to be getting the ring on your finger. Okay, that's my personal opinion. I know y'all don't want to hear that. You want to continue to live in that manner, and you want to just wait it out to see if he's gonna go ahead and get in a marriage with you. I would say you should focus more on, keeping that commitment that you already have with him and moving it towards marriage and the altar, instead of sowing seeds of deceit in where he can't trust you, because that's what it does. I'm quite sure the person who did it and they went viral on it, I know he's sitting at home like, I don't know, is she really committed to me, or is she waiting to leave me for somebody else? Because that's what it's going to do. It's not going to help the situation, especially if you want to work out with him. And that's the reason why I don't get in the business of boyfriend and girlfriend, because it is the land of confusion. It is a very confusing dynamic because it has no legal standing. So technically she is single. She just can't act like it. She can't just say it either, because she's made some type of commitment. That's the reason why I brought up the fact that when you go to court, and you can take somebody to court for a verbal contract. You can take somebody to court based off their word. You can go to the courthouse and say, hey, this person promised to do this for me. And they will actually consider your case. So you need to think on that lines. Like, I am literally committing myself to this man, but he's not the guy I want to marry. Then you should not be in that situation. You should remove yourself. If you can't see yourself marrying this man, remove yourself. You have the perfect opportunity there. Now, if you have kids with him, and this is my unpopular opinion, if you have kids with him, I think that you should consider seeing if you can work it out. Because a lot of things can be worked out in a relationship as long as there's no abuse or addictions. You can see if you can put that ring on it. Try to move in that direction. But that is the reason why you don't see me having a lot of conversation about boyfriend and girlfriend, because y'all have a confusing dynamic going on. And it starts right here with the single until married conversation. So that is my 2 cents. Let me see what everybody else has to say in the comment section. You're saying we need to make sure our words match our actions. Absolutely. I think that when it comes down to it, if you want someone who matches your values and you want someone who's going to follow through with their word, you should be a person that's the reciprocal of that's going to be able to follow through with yours. So if you're going to be a person who commits to this man, but you still have your eye out there looking for someone else, you're not going to get anywhere with that man. And then possibly, men are not dumb. They can see that you're living with this man, but you're dating here for marriage. You're looking at him for marriage, but you're having commitment elsewhere. He's not going to be able to trust you. So let's move with integrity in a way where we can get married to the type of people that we want and the reciprocal of the energy that we're putting out, versus making it so confusing by being in relationship with a man and having this a commitment. Yes, legal, you are single. Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. You are single according to the IRS, and you are not married. But you should not be making commitments all over the place and then talking about, I am single until married. Because technically, you aren't single. You made a commitment, even if it's a verbal one. A verbal one can still get you in the courthouse. You can still be taken to court based off that verbal commitment, that verbal contract. So you need to move as such. If we're going to sit here and say that we want a man with integrity, a man that has our values, remember, we attract the reciprocal of the energy that we put out. So don't be surprised if you're with a man and have this type of commitment and you're looking at another man to get married to. Do not be surprised if he start moving a little shady himself. So make sure your words matter. Make sure your promises matter. Have some integrity about the way that you move and the decision that you make. Because I honestly do feel like the decisions and choices that we make and not moving with integrity, we do pay for that, or our children pay for it. And y'all know, y'all are big and grown. You're big and grown. I'm not as more concerned about you as I am about your children and their children's children. Because some will pay the price of lack of integrity. It may not be you. It may be your children. So single until you're married, I really want you to think about this. I really want you to move in a way where it's going to be easy to do so, because no one's talking about the fact when you move it in this manner, it is not going to be easy, because you're literally committed to this person, but you're still looking, you're still dating, you're still looking for someone who's husband material. You're making your situation messy. So then don't complain when it gets real messy and these men find out about each other, or they start having conversations with each other. Like, don't get upset when it get messy, because it will get messy, because you're creating a messy situation. And I don't believe in messy. I don't like messy. I like things to be simple and easy. I like to relax. I don't like a messy lifestyle. And I'm encourage you all, don't create a messy lifestyle for yourself, because that's what will happen. So you're single until you're married. You absolutely are. The IRS says so. But instead of giving a man commitment when you know he isn't husband material, move around. Women tend to do everything but leave. Everything but leave. It is better for you to be single and date for marriage than to have a commitment with a man that can make it messy when you come across your person. What if you were to meet your husband tomorrow? Like, it's gonna get real messy. And I don't like messy. You shouldn't either. You want to have an easy lifestyle. It is more than just prayer and affirmations. Having an easy lifestyle is also creating it by design, making sure we're not doing messy things to bring mess into our lives. If you want to be relaxed, you create that for yourself. You create that atmosphere for yourself. You don't do things where you're going to have to deal with the consequences later on, or today or tomorrow. So you are single. Absolutely. You're single because the IRS says you are. You're single until you sign that marriage certificate. But when you create a mess for yourself, you will have to deal with the mess. It is better to not take on a commitment. Instead, when a man asks you to be the girlfriend, and you're on the track to be married, you need to say, yes, that's well, no, you would not say yes. Be like, oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. If I was in a different stage of my life, I would absolutely say yes. But right now, I'm dating for marriage. I'm absolutely a wife. That's all you have to say. And that is what I said to my husband. And he proposed, and I was his fiance. Then we moved into our place together. And then I was his wife within a year. And I've been married for 23 years. I was taught to not accept commitments after high school, because I didn't want to be, even when my grandmother, she was an older woman. Y'all know I talked about the fact that age doesn't matter. It may make it a little harder to date, but it doesn't matter about getting married, because she was still getting proposals all the way up till she was 80. Even when she was dating, she never accepted any type of commitment. She never said, here's my boyfriend at 80 something years old. She would literally say, here's my friend, and we're going out to lunch. I learned from the best. I learned from her. Like, so you can have a friend. You be like, he's my friend. And don't even allow this person to slip in that y'all are committed or have some type of boyfriend and girlfriend dynamic that you don't have. Like, my friend, he stays in the friend category until he becomes your fiance. Then he becomes your husband. And that is how other communities do it also. And when I got on social YouTube, I started, getting into spaces of other communities other than the black, not just the black communities, and start watching other communities and realize that they do it the same way, that they don't accept boyfriend as a commitment. And if they're on the marriage track, they only go from fiance to husband. And so I was like, thankful to my grandmother because she taught me that way. She taught me that way. And I, not just from her saying it, but I watched how she did things because she had boyfriends because she was a widow. And she said she wasn't going to get married again. And the guys that she dated, they were never nothing but friends. But they always tried to get more. They always tried to get some form of commitment from her because that's what men do. They try to lock down the woman that they desire or that they want. And so a lot of men will lock you down, but they're not sure about you. They just don't want you to be out here dating other people. They don't want some other man to come snatch you up and go run off in the sunset with you and marry you when that could have been the outcome for you if you wouldn't have given a commitment. Because when we give our commitment, majority of us, yes, we have some women who are saying, oh, I'm still going until I'm married, and they moving messy. But the majority of us are not. So what we do, we tend to wait it out and try to see if this boyfriend is going to be a husband. Is he going to give us some type of commitment? And that's the reason why I have women who have been with a boyfriend about 15, 25, 30 years. And I'm blown away. I'm like, you still waiting? Some of them are still waiting. All right, so I don't see any other questions on YouTube. All right, so definitely you can go ahead and drop your questions. But I think that it's really important that we move in a way that we want the men that we are with to move also. We shouldn't move messy. We shouldn't even desire to have the outcome where we are committed to one man and we're dating for a husband. So why do we need the other man? I want you to think about that. Why do you need that man in the first place if you're still dating for your husband? Because this means that the man that you committed to, he is not the husband. And if he's not the husband, why do we need him? I just want you to think about that. Because some of you women push back when I say we shouldn't be committing ourselves to men in this manner, especially when we want to get married. So you want to get married, but you're going to commit to a man that does not or will not be husband material. Why waste your time? Why make it harder for you? Like, I want y'all to have it easy. I want y'all to stop being or, feeling disillusioned about relationship. And it is because of all the mess that you hear. Social media is just it's full of good information, but it's also full of bad information. And y'all have to be very careful too, because y'all social media makes money. And some people are like, I don't care what I put out as long as I make $1. I don't care what I put out. I don't care if it harms other people. I don't care if they go and mess up their entire lives because I'm going to get paid. And everybody isn't gonna move in it with integrity, especially when it comes to these social media spaces. The more outlandish, the more crazy, the more misleading advice that you get on social media, that is what goes viral. And because I'm talking and being very logical in this conversation, it won't go viral. It will not, because it makes sense. If I said something outlandish about, hey, go ahead and get in a relationship and be committed to this man, dip from him and go and find another man, and then just keep doing that until you find your husband, something like that will go viral because it's outlandish and it's messy, and it's gonna not get the woman the things that she wants. But you are single until you're married. Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. For someone says I don't agree, I do. But I'm just saying, be very careful about making commitments with people when they are not your person, they're not husband material, because what you have to do, we're in 2023, and I feel like the longer I live, the more people are becoming more unhinged, the more people are becoming out of their minds. And so I want you to kind of limit yourself of being able to encounter those people. I want you to limit encountering the unhinged. Because the more that you continue to put yourself in situations and commitment, the more traumatized you will become, the more disillusioned you will become about relationship and marriage. And I don't believe, and because I know also, not only from my own marriage, my own personal experience with marriage, that marriage is great with the right person. It is absolutely delectable, delicious, and happy. It is great to be married to the right person. And so I see it, I live it, I am it. So I know that some women don't get the opportunity to be around those type of married people. So you don't get to see how great it can be. You just get to go on social media and see married people fighting like cats and dogs, bringing things to the internet. Y'all know I'm starting to get, the more that I start seeing married people get on the internet and bash each other, I'm starting to really think, what can we do about it? Like, why bring it here? Because we can't do nothing about it anyway. It makes for good entertainment. It makes for good content, but we can't do nothing about it anyway. So why are you bringing it here? And I'm starting to really question, is it a conspiracy? Is it because of the social media just likes to push negativity? What is it? Like, I'm starting to really think that social media is playing a part in us seeing these things, because when it comes to happy marriages, they are there on social media too. It's just hard to find. It's just hard to find that content where you can get happily married people. But you are single until you're married, just cut it out. Like, really, just cut it out. Stop giving your word if you want your word to mean something. Stop giving it in that manner and moving in a way that's messy. And it's going to cause you so many issues in the long run, dealing with this man and the other men, because women are trying to get in committed relationships and still date. Some women, and I know men do this also. Men, you are not exempt. You do this also. But we are not trying to have it or get in situations that are messy. You want it to be easy, you want to be relaxed, and you want to be with your person that has the same reciprocal energy that you have. Like, why would I want to be with someone that I can't trust their word? You can trust mine. If I give you a promise, I'm gonna stand on it. Absolutely. Because I grew up learning as a wee baby that your word is your bond. So I don't take promises lightly, and I'm married to someone that has the same reciprocal energy. I've talked about on YouTube where my husband, even if he has nothing to say, if he gives me the promise of calling me back, he's going to call me back and just say, I'm calling you back because I said it. He makes me no promises unless he can follow through. And that's the energy that I love. I don't want to be with someone who's going to be single until they're married and can't give me commitment, and I can't stand on their word, and their word doesn't mean anything. I want to be with that person. Do you want to be with that person? Do you want to be with that person? He's sitting here talking about he's single until he's married, and he made a commitment to you to be your boyfriend. He made a commitment to forsake others. Do you want to be that person in that relationship? Well, then you should not want to pursue, or you shouldn't want to move in that manner yourself, especially if you want that reciprocal energy back. Right. Well, if you do find happy couples on social media, it looks disingenuous. It does. And I'm going to tell you why it looks disingenuous. Because people who are happy don't need social media. They don't need to be seen every moment. They don't need validation. They don't need attention. They don't need likes or comments. They don't need you to validate their relationship. So that's the reason why it looks disingenuous. I always side-eye couples if I have to see them constantly through my news feed, constantly taking pictures of each other, constantly hugged up. And that love does exist. It does. Because your girl is like that, okay? But you won't see these pictures because in those moments, it's just about me and him. Like, even we went on vacation recently. You ain't seen no pictures of that? Why should you? Because in the moment, we were so into each other, we didn't have the moment to take a picture. We're horrible at it because we were so into each other. And I be thinking, when I see those pictures, I'm like, who's taking a picture? Who's stopping the kissing, the hugging, the flowers, the romance, just to take a picture? I'm not doing that. I'm not going to tell you to do it all over again so the camera can catch it. So that's why it looks disingenuous. Because a lot of times it is. Can you give examples of what a healthy marriage looks like on both sides? A healthy marriage, first of all, a healthy marriage is a marriage where it's mutually beneficial. Y'all are together and you're caring about him, he's caring about you. Y'all are making moves in a way that's going to benefit each other and your family unit. That is what healthy family is. It is about taking care of your own, being there for your person, being supportive of your person, encouraging your person. It's also about showing up for your person and being there in a capacity that's going to help your person. Like, I could go on and on about what a healthy relationship is, because there's so many moving pieces to a healthy relationship. I think we have to figure out what's settled with us. The love list now feels like what you're willing to settle for. Maybe. Yeah, I agree. I think that we do have to figure out what's settled with us. Remember, the marriage is about two people. It don't matter what I say. It don't matter what other people say. It's going to be about you and him and how you want your marriage to go forward. No marriage is equal. Most of us are not doing things the same way, saying things the same way, acting the same way. We have created a dynamic that's going to benefit both of us. That is what the marriage is going to be. People who are happy don't need social media. Never thought of that. So true. They don't need social media. Majority of the time, and I've had women say, hey, why aren't you and your husband constantly on social media? Because one, I am the public figure. My husband is the private figure. And then when we have our moment, I'm not thinking in my head, oh my gosh, I must film this so I can show social media that I have a husband that loves me. I already know he loves me. I already know he's about real. I just want to help you get your person. And the person is going to be loving on you. The person is going to be for you. Because that's what it is when it's healthy. He is for me and I am for him. We're both moving in our good. We're both moving in a mutually beneficial way. It is a give, a take, and it is us supporting each other and leaning on each other and taking care of each other in the good times and the bad times. But people say that we should use Instagram as a new Tinder. I feel so confused. I feel like social media, any social media app or platform can be used to date, any of them. If what I'm hearing is not, Instagram is not the best place, it's going to be LinkedIn. I'm not sure if y'all have heard that LinkedIn is actually another place that you can meet men who have careers and they're dating over there. And it's supposed to be a platform for you to get a job, but people are making connections over there. So I feel like any social media platform app can be a place where you can meet a person. You can meet new people. Does disrespect ever happen in a marriage? I'll say, so how should it be handled? See, the thing is, it's tricky with disrespect because what you see as disrespectful, I may not. And that's the reason why we're coming into being each other's compliment. I say this all the time. When you are a man's compliment, you never think that he's doing something to harm you. I never feel like, oh, he's saying something to hurt my feelings, or he's deliberately doing something to hurt me. I always think along the lines that he may not know or see that it's disrespectful, because everybody has a different ideals of what disrespect is. You might feel like just saying what's up is disrespectful, and I might feel like that's a normal greeting. Okay? Because honestly, I do. Like when I have people come in my live stream, they're like, what up? That's not how I talk. I don't be around people who use what up. So I feel like that's disrespectful. But then I have to actually think about it. This is their normal language. They don't mean anything by it. So when you feel like you're his compliment, you don't immediately think or get in your feelings and be like, oh, this is so disrespectful. He's trying to hurt me. He's trying to say something to me. You go and you put on your big girl drawers and you're like, you know what? I didn't really care for that. That really hurt my feelings. I don't like when you use what up, or I don't like that you said this. It kind of hurt my feelings and I don't like it. It's just that simple. And when that person is your person and they're dedicated to making it work and to being your compliment, they're like, okay, I see where you're coming from. I won't use that anymore. I won't use that language anymore. The thing is, we have to realize disrespect has so many different definitions of people, and we look at things as disrespectful that may not be disrespectful to others. And so instead of thinking about it, oh, that person trying to harm me, I want you to think about, okay, this person doesn't realize I consider it disrespectful. And instead of, stewing on it and being highly upset, just address it. You don't have to get out of pocket. You don't got to get combative. Your tone don't even got to change. Just be I don't like cursing. Now y'all know when I do my savage breed content, we might get into that realm, but majority of the time I don't like cursing, and my husband knows this, so he doesn't curse around me. I'm not saying he doesn't ever curse. I'm saying he doesn't curse around me, because I find it disrespectful. I don't think men should curse. I think men should be a gentleman around the women that they love, that they care about, that is their compliment. So I feel like that he shouldn't curse. Instead of me getting highly upset because he cursed and ready to put on my boxing gloves, I'd be like, babe, I don't really like that. I don't like when you use that type of language. It really upsets me. And that's it. And when that person is in it to win it, they change. And I don't say change, I say they upgrade. They upgrade based off the influence that you have with them. They upgrade from that influence, and they don't use that type of language anymore. Because disrespect is very broad. It truly is. Some things that you all don't see as disrespectful, I absolutely do. Like, I don't like when men call women out their names, but I know women who don't mind. They don't see it as disrespectful. They see it as part of the culture and it's something that's normalized for them. They're used to calling each other out their names. To me, I'd be highly offended and I feel disrespected. But other people, not so much. And you can do that also if you feel disrespected with friends, family, co-workers. If they're using language or something you feel disrespected, look, I don't like that. Like, I do not like that. I would prefer that you don't use that type of language with me. I prefer you don't call me out my name. That's not something that I want to do with you. And it's not something that I am going to be okay with. Just that simple. And that's how you handle disrespect. So if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to get ready to close out. I think I've said everything I can say about single until married. And this is why I'm coming back to YouTube also, because YouTube don't cut me off at 59 minutes. I can continue to talk if I wanted to, but it's like 2:58 my time here. And I want to go, and I'm going to go ahead and have lunch. Y'all know I eat very late. So I don't see any other questions in my chat. So I'm going to get ready to close out. I appreciate you all for being here. Oh, I didn't go down. Let me go all the way down first. I'm sorry. I didn't go all the way down. So I'm going to make sure I go all the way down to all the comments. I don't see any other comments in the comment section. I appreciate you all for being here and coming. If you came from Instagram, I appreciate you for coming over here to YouTube. Take the time to like, comment, and share. Show me that you want me to do more content on YouTube, because I have so much content. When I tell you all, I have content that I have not even seen on YouTube or any social media platform that I've been holding just for YouTube, because I'm ready to grow over here and create this, work on this community on YouTube. I have tons of content. So let's get the likes up, the comments up, the sharing up, so that we can come and we can create a space for the Pedestal Wife Society over here. And then we can also do more wife content. I've been talking about doing wife content for like a long time, but now I feel like now it's time to do more wife content. It's time to do more wife content. I feel now I have a lot of experience now. I feel like 23 years is enough time to actually do wife content. I felt like I had to get over the hump and get over another year. And then, yes, this feels good. This feels like the right moment to start introducing more wife content to the Pedestal Wife Society. Also, we will be having our Influence Him workshop, October the 28th, 12 p.m. If you have not secured your spot, go into the, it's going to be in the description box. You can go ahead and secure your spot. We're going to have so much fun, so much content coming your way. I'm so excited because when I tell you I got some content that's going to turn social media upside down, I got content that's going to turn social media upside down. And I'm ready for it. I've done what I needed to do. I got Instagram. Literally, what I'm doing, I'm going from each content, each social media platform, getting that space together, and then moving on. So Instagram, I done my work over there. If you haven't followed me over on Instagram, go and do that also over there. Instagram is definitely, we have a lot going on over there. You're going to enjoy the space. I try to keep it as clean as possible and a space where you can learn from. So I am ready to do more on YouTube, and I'm hoping you all support me over here. And I will see you all on the next one. You all have a wonderful day. Yes, we need more content. Thank you. Loved it. You're welcome. And I will see you all on the next one. Y'all have a great one. Bye.